What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. I'm almost better, y'all. Just a little bit. Just a little bit left in there, but we gonna make it through. Okay. Thank you to everybody who wished me well on Twitter, on IG, in the comments down below. I was hoping that I feel better. And I do, praise God. Y'all know I don't like taking a lot of prescription meds. I do a lot of things um, homeopathically and um, just good old fashioned country home remedies, and it has served me well, you guys. It really, really has. I still got a little stuffiness in this ear, but I'm doing all right. I ain't got no complaints. God is good. Okay, let's get into this. You guys already know what this is. This is Woosah Wednesday, which means what? Queen Sugar. Okay, let's get into this episode. This is season 2, episode 4, My Soul's High Song. Let's talk real quick about that title, you guys. That title is from a book by County Cullen, and it is a collection of um, Renaissance poets and prose writers from back in the day. Zora Neale Hurston, Langston Hughes, as well as Cullen um, herself. Um, and it's a beautiful, beautiful book of poetry. I read a couple of snippets online. Of course, everybody knows Langston Hughes, Unrivaled, Zora Neale Hurston. Come on, y'all. Yeah. All right. So this is a very apropos title for this episode. We are going to go character by character, and just really, really quickly tell what happened with our characters in their own personal walks. And then we are going to talk about the farm, the family, and the fortune. All right. So let's go, you guys. Aunt Vi Hollywood. Boy, I tell you what, Hollywood has fixed everything around Aunt Vi's house. Normally, his list is a mile long, and when he gets home from the rig, he fixes everything. But since he home steady, he's fixed everything, and there's nothing else left to do, and he ain't going back out on the rig. So, like most men, he want to be entertained. All right, all right. If you ever live with a man or been married, you know when a man is home and you home, he must have one pinky toe touching you at all times. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk on the phone. You can't do jack. You can't just up. No, all right. So a lot of women don't like their men around the house because y'all kind of get underfoot. Y'all like having another needy child. All right. And it's cute. It's real, real sweet until it's not anymore. So Aunt Vi is almost there. He shows up at the High Yellow. He not in the way. She happy to see him, but he don't like the fact that she dividing her attention and not focusing just on him. He bored, you know what I'm saying? And it's her job to entertain him and not just with the blackberry cobbler. He's inserting himself in conversations he probably shouldn't be inserting himself in until he's had conversations with her, and consequently ends up um, volunteering her to cook all these pies that she don't have time to cook because she busy trying to run the High Yellow, and it's taking a lot out of her with everything that's going on with the High Yellow. Okay. And when she come home and he's already started the whole pie process, he's torn her kitchen up, and she is just like, "Oh, honey, you started without me." She is just. So when he gets a phone call, she quickly rushes him on off. Later on, we see Aunt Vi and Hollywood having conversation right before bed. She's putting her lotion on, and he's sitting on the other side, and he's saying he loves being home with her. He loves being sleeping with her every night. This is something he's wanted, and he loves it, but he needs to work and he is bored. And she's like, I don't know where we got the idea that we supposed to, she said she liked to work too, but where we got the idea we supposed to work until we die. No, you're supposed to enjoy your life. We just have to find out what that is. And he asked her, what are your hopes and dreams? I mean, I see you running the high yellow, but I can see that it's stressing you out, you know, and it don't seem like love to me. So what is it that you love to do? Of course, she loves to cook. And, this conversation where he sort of initiates this thought about what it is she wants for herself. What are some of her passions? And how can she cultivate that passion into viable income? In other words, what's your passion? What is it you want to do? And she says, just coming full circle in conversation, well, I love to make people happy with food. And I mean, I guess that means owning my own business. It just comes to her. And this is what open dialogue and and encouraging one another and really, really supporting one another and true love is really all about. Is being there to support and bring out the very, very best in that other person. Even though you get sick of them, you get tired of them. You know what I'm saying? You want the best for them and they want the best for you. Talk about Nova. All right. You guys know Nova writes for the local newspaper. She's got a very, very comfortable position there. The old editor gave her sort of carte blanche to do what she needed to do to write these articles, to sort of follow her passion and also have this job. And the new editor, not so much. He loves her writing. He loves her work. He commends her for her writing. He compliments her work, but he wants a little bit more balance. And we see in this episode, one of Nova's greatest struggle in this episode is the mediation of balance. So later on, when she leaves the boss's office, now she defends herself. She defends it. She defends her work. She defends her body of work and the need for it in the community. Her editor is adamant. We need less problems and more solutions. We need to talk about some of the positive things that go on in this county. Later on, when she goes to her girlfriend's house, the one she made the beautiful blankets for, and the babies have been born, and Nova does what she has been taught by her mom to do, as well as what has been passed down through the generations of women in her family. And then she offers a blessing over the babies. It's a beautiful, beautiful blessing and prayer, and the blankets are beautiful, the babies are beautiful. It's really sets the tone. And let me just say this as a sidebar. It's more than a notion to bless your children, to offer them back over to God. I know it's something we used to do in the Black community all the time in church, and you find that people kind of get away from it, but it has biblical principle along with naming your children. What you named your children was really, really important too. And so this is something that Nova is doing that is also of community service. This is what she's known for. She's known for being the village shaman, kind of, in whatever form that comes in. And so when she sits down with a girlfriend, and the girlfriend says, when are you going to have children and what are you going to... And we realize that job, this cause, this has been her husband. This has been her child. And she says it, my family, my friends, these are the people I love. I treat like my children. I care for them like they are my family. They are my children. And this work is all I've ever needed, And we know that it's not true because, again, life is about balance, right? She learns this after the next day when she goes and tries to implement what her boss has told her, because she realizes, if I quit this job, that's my check, and I won't have a platform or any finances. So when she goes to talk to someone in the city, the same city she has written articles about, unfavorable articles, the woman tries to give her some stats about things that they're doing, and finally she just can't even be fake with Nova anymore. Who are we kidding? You have ripped this organization apart with your articles, and now you in here to try to pretend like you want to figure out what it is that we're doing good, we're doing right, and we expect you to write about it honestly and earnestly. Please come back and see me when you really, really about, finding out what it is that we're doing. And it's a good moment because it's a come to Jesus moment for Nova. Again, it's about balance. My mama used to say you got to have favor with God and man. All right. So you want to help the community, well, you're going to need certain resources and certain connections and certain networks in order to help the community. And if you burn all them bridges, all right, Nova, you can't be all of one anything. All right. It's about Charley and Remy. Charley and Remy have got this meal going. All right. They've got equipment. They've got stats. They've got progress. They have invited the other farmers out, the ones they want to bring their sugarcane to that meal, and they are selling the service. Charley does a great job. She already knows so much about the business side of running a meal. You can't help but be impressed because this is not a business she has ever done before. All right. So she does an awesome job. The men are super, super happy. And we're not even going to talk about that super tight first lady French roll that she had in her hair. We don't even have to discuss that right now. So after she talks to the men, Remy is there, of course. A couple of people that he brought in to hear the presentation have decided to bring their sugar cane to that meal. And that's all thanks to Remy. You guys already know from what he told Ralph Angel sitting at the bar at High Yellow about the counter at High Yellow about how much he loved his dad and how much he loves his family and how much he's here for this family. And he proves it every single time. All right, to provide resources and names and things like that to get things done. Um, Remy is a huge asset to the Bordelon family as well as Prosper. Well, he asked her to come out to lunch with him, and she says, "Great idea, to celebrate." Talk things over. She gets a phone call from the realtor. Okay, the same realtor she done put an application on about the house that her and Micah supposed to be staying in. And it's falling through, but the realtor does have another house she wants to show her. And so she tells Remy this, and Remy says, we can rain check. And she says, you know what? Let's not do that. Instead, why don't you come, since you're so good at helping setting things up, look at the house with me, and afterwards we can go out to lunch. Cool, no problem. They get there to see the house, and the house is huge and it's beautiful. It's got a home theater, and it's also up the street from the Boudreaux's and the Landry's. WTF, Charley. While she is there, she gets a call from Ralph Angel, but we are going to talk about that later on. After they handle the call with Ralph Angel, they go and they're talking at the High Yellow at lunch, and Remy just tells her, I mean, how much money are you going to spend? Now, like you're, it's not going to last forever. And she says, yeah, I got enough. And he says, why don't you save the money that you would spend on that humongous house and move a little bit closer? It'll be more affordable and you'll be near the community that you're going to be serving, the community that your farm is in. And she's just like, why do I have to live in the community? Why do people think, it's this long argument. And he makes a very, very valid point about Black people trying to achieve this standard that white people have set. When you achieve living where they are, you have really arrived. When you buy the car that they drive, you have really arrived. And they don't set the standard for us. We set our own standard. We do what it is that we need to do to support and be a part of our community. And she really just doesn't get it. She doesn't understand. And Charley never understands off rip. She always needs it to marinate a little bit. This situation is no different. Let's talk about Micah Blue and Darla. First, we're going to talk about Darla because the whole Michael Blue situation is kind of traumatic. So let's talk about Darla. Darla takes little Blue swimming, and she discovers that Blue cannot swim. She also discovers when she's talking to Ralph Angel about the fact that Blue cannot swim is that Ralph Ava DuVernay's little jewels that she implants into the storyline that is indicative of stereotypes that we hear about African Americans all the time, which is Black people can't swim, which is true. A lot of Black people can't swim. I myself can swim. I was taught to swim. I had a friend that drowned, and my mom wanted all of us to know how to swim. And so we all swim. Um, not true of everybody. But she also decides that she wants Blue to have swimming lessons. Now she was a really, really good swimmer. She's won a couple of little medals, and Ralph Angel tells her the money is not there right now for swimming lessons, and she decides that she's going to pay for it. He gives her a little haggle about it, but she lets him know, I want to do this, okay? Ralph Angel, you can't support this family by yourself, and Darla can't support this family by herself. But together, you guys can make it happen for one another and y'all baby. Okay? Then we see later on Ralph Angel's in crisis at the farm, and he calls Darla, and she has to make a decision. She asks her boss for time off, tells him that, can she go for the day, and tells him she'll find somebody to cover her shift if he'll let her go. And he's just, he's a real dick. He looked like a dick, he act like a dick, he talked like a dick, and not the good kind, short and fat and stubby. Ugh. Okay, so she ends up leaving the job. I'm sure she found somebody, but when she returns to the job, he quickly fires her, gives her a last check and fire her. And she begs and pleads and cries. This is and a so part when she gets fired from that job, she is devastated. Now, when she gets fired, it's at the end of the episode, so no one knows yet that Darla is fired. But let's roll things back, okay? Let's talk about Micah and Blue. Micah going through, y'all. He is going through, you guys. He is coming out. Not sleeping. He's not eating. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's becoming more introverted into himself, and now he is acting out against Blue. We see when he returns home from his dad's house, Ralph Angel, Charley, Darla are in the kitchen. She's about to take Micah back out to school. And when Blue comes around the corner and sees that Micah is there, he is so happy to see him because he's been gone and they had been staying there at the house. And so he made him a gift. And Micah just stamps on Blue and tells him, didn't I tell you not to touch my stuff? Or didn't I tell you to stay out of my stuff? And y'all know Blue is so kind-hearted and so sweethearted. He comes in the room like a rainbow, like a ray of sunshine every time he comes into the room. And so it's like Micah took a bucket of ice water and just put his fire out. And so he hides behind Daddy. Woo! And everybody's stunned because they're not used to this from Micah. They're not. They're not used to him being. He's not the type of teenager that does this type of thing. You know what I mean? And so Charley doesn't know what to say. She wants to apologize, but she's just like, And Michael walks out. He's frustrated with himself as well. Next thing we see is a tough bit to deal with. It hits home for me because something very similar happened with me. Charley, in my youth, Ralph Angel and Micah are sitting at the table, and Ralph Angel and Charley are talking about business. And Blue sneaks up behind Micah with Kenya, and he wants to play. And as soon as he touches Micah's arm with Kenya, Micah lifts that hand up and knocks Blue on his butt and back up against the wall. It happens so fast, you guys. It happens so fast. And just as fast, Charley got down to check on Micah, and Ralph Angel had Micah, his nephew, up against the wall, and he was mad. He was threatening Micah, and Micah was, just shocked. He was frightened, and Charley had to leave Blue and put herself between Ralph Angel and Micah, and she had to talk to her brother in a real harsh way because she had to let him understand, you don't touch my son. Don't you ever put your hands on my son. Now she's in Mama Bear mode. Ralph Angel's in Papa Bear mode. Blue is crying and screaming. He wants everybody to stop arguing. Please, no, stop. It's enough. He's had enough. Micah is screaming it was an accident, and he's upset. Listen, you guys, it was such a shocking scene. It was such a shocking scene because we're not used to seeing a violent dynamic within the Bordelon family. We are not at all. And to see this thing that happened to Micah be bleeding out in this type of way, especially against the most innocent of Bordelons, which is little Blue, it was shocking. Later on, we see where Ralph Angel has conversations with Micah, but we also see where Micah makes amends with Blue and he apologizes. And Blue apologizes. I should have asked you first if you wanted to play. And he said, you don't ever have to ask me. I love playing with you. I always want you to come and play with me. And he hugs him. He gives him a good solid hug to let him know, I'm really sorry, Blue, and I love you. I never want to hurt you. And he also gives them a gift. All right. We needed this, y'all. We needed this. We did. We don't need this to be something that festers and grows and splits us up and turns us into anger, because we already know it is the little foxes that destroy the vines. So long before the Boudreaux and the Landrys can destroy the Bordelon family, it is more likely, if they don't stick together, if they let these little foxes destroy them, although this wasn't too little of a fox, it was a big deal, but still, they could destroy themselves from the inside out if they're not careful. It happens all the time. So these apologies family constantly has to do to mend the rips and the tears that come into the fabric of their lives is very important. All right, it's very important. All right, so let's talk about Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel got the check, y'all. He got the check from the small business loan people, and he is getting the soybean. He's already had it ordered. So when he and Prosper are walking the land, and they looking around just like Prosper walked around with his daddy Ernest and looked around the land and talked, that's what Ralph Angel is doing with Prosper. And it's a good conversation. It's a good moment. Oh, Ralph Angel looking more and more like Ernest Bordelon every day. But Prosper notices white flies, and it's bad. All right. White flies don't kill the sugar cane, but it makes the cane useless. So it might as well kill it, in other words. All right. No harvest. We got to get this handled. Well, this is the call that Ralph Angel places to Charley when she's in the rental property with Remy. And he does the right thing, puts a video on, shows her the video of the white flies. Remy confirms it. And they agree that they have two choices. They can either go by hand and eliminate the white flies, or they can have a plane fly over and spray the whole crop and get rid of it. But that's gonna cost $5,000. So Ralph Angel does the right thing. I got my check from the small business loan people. I can get it done. She said, no, that's your money. That's what Charley said. That's your money. See what I'm saying? Good move, Charley. That's your money. I'll pay for it. This is why Remy was having a conversation with her at High Yellow about how long her money after the incident with Micah and Blue, where he knocked Blue to the floor and Ralph Angel had to yoke him up. Ralph Angel was on the porch and Charley went to talk to him, and she apologized to him, and he needed to hear that apology. But in the same breath, she says to him that I thought you of all people would understand. And Ralph Angel said, what does that mean? Come on, Micah hasn't been the same since he got arrested. And he tells her, you really think 4 hours is the same as 4 years? What's wrong with Micah is you and Davis. The boy is soft. Y'all haven't taught him nothing. He ain't lived nothing. He been in money is not gonna fix everything, Charley. We're not living in that world. Out here on the streets, there's some other things that are required. And she's stunned. She's devastated. She cannot believe that he's blaming it on her. The next day when they talking about the crop and they realize they got to wipe all the crop down. Of course, Remy calls some people to come and help. Ralph Angel calls some people to come and help. He calls Hollywood, thank goodness. And he calls Darla. All right. They get ready everybody gets together, and Prosper and Remy is there, and they tell them what they need to do to clean the crop up. All right. And at the same time, Charley learns that some people have had some made a bet that she wasn't gonna be out there helping because you know what I'm saying she wear $5,000 Manolos. She too bougie, right? She too uppity. And she kind of, she plays along with it, but she's offended. And so when she goes back in the house and she talks to Nova about being bougie, it's because of what Ralph Angel said and Remy said and the farmers said out there with the whole bet thing. And Nova kind of squashes it. She also tells Nova that she is not leaving that property. Ralph Angel can't run her off of that property. Now we already know she's staying temporary. I'm not really sure why she dug in like that, but okay. So when Ralph Angel knows to finish the first few hours of work, here comes Aunt Vi. And Aunt Vi goes ahead and lets them know, I got your pies for you. He don't want to eat right now. And they're loading this truck up. So Charley is walking back and forth past Ralph Angel as he loading the truck up, and Aunt Vi is watching the dynamics. And so finally when Charley walks off, asks Ralph Angel, what's going on with you and Charley? I thought y'all had made up. And he said he's sick of her. He's sick of her looking down on him. I'm sick of her being here in my house and on my land. I'm ready for her to go. And she said, wait a minute. Last time I checked, this her property too. This her land too. That at least that's the way your daddy wanted. And he said, well, that ain't all daddy wanted. And she's like, what are you talking about? He said, a couple of months ago, I found a letter. They go inside the house and she showed him the letter. He showed her the letter. And so when she reading the letter, and she is like all of us, flabbergasted. At the same time, she realizes this letter could be another one of the foxes that destroys the vine. She gives him this sort of ominous warning. This could tear y'all apart. And he said, well, I'm gonna show Charley, and I'm gonna tell her, and I'm gonna let her know she can't push me around no more, and she don't need to be looking down on me. And she said, well, I can't stop you from doing what it is you got your mind and heart set on doing, but don't let your ego and your anger write a check that you are not willing to cash. And you already know that's an old saying from back in the day. Don't let your mouth write a check that your behind can't cash. Well, she telling him the same thing. Don't let your ego write a check that you ain't willing to cash, because this could tear you and this family asunder. All right? That ain't what you want for you. That ain't what you want for us. And that ain't what you want for Blue. He's got time to think about it a little bit. All right? So let's talk about family. We've talked about the farm. We've talked about the fortune. Now let's talk about the family. So later on that night, after they're done farming, and I mean cleaning up all the leaves, and Charley's having a glass of wine. She's waiting for Micah to get home. Micah gets home and she wants to talk to him about the potential place that they are going to live. All right. And how do you feel about living closer to the farm and a little closer to the community? He said, nothing's gonna be California, so it don't matter. It don't matter as long as we together. That's perfectly fine. Same time they get a knock on the door. Micah goes to the door and stops in his tracks because it is a police officer. And y'all already know Micah don't want to have nothing to do with police officers. He's frightened. Mom, she goes to the door. Can I help you? And they say, we're here for Ralph Angel board alone. And she's like, and Ralph Angel standing just off to the back. All right. He done put Blue down for the night. And he stopped short. Because it's a knee-jerk reaction for you to tell the police that the person they're looking for is not there, especially if that's a family member of yours. It is for me anyway. I don't normally tell the police that they're there. All right, now then maybe they want to look around anyway, but my knee-jerk reaction would be that. But Charley resists that. Plus, she's not really from the streets, and she don't feel like Ralph Angel has done anything wrong. There's no reason he shouldn't come and straighten all this out. So when Ralph Angel comes and say, "Can I help y'all?" He said, "We are here. We got a call of parole violation. Someone reported shots fired." And Ralph Angel was like, "Shots fired?" They looking at each other, Charley and Ralph Angel, and they realize it's a setup. All right, it's a setup against your family. This is an attack of the enemy against your family. Boom. One of the twin powers activate. Not really, but y'all get what I'm saying. All right. They go into family mode. Charley claims the gun. She claims shooting. Rat, possum, something. I don't know. I'm not from here. I'm from California, officer. I do not. I'm not used to all these things. I don't know how you big, strong, strapping boys able to do it. Now, they going to take him in when they find the gun. When she show him where the gun is and say that's her gun, they still gonna take him in. If it wasn't for her speaking up and talking and batting her eyelashes and doing what she had to do to save, keep her brother from going to jail, they would have took him to jail. So when the officers leave, now mind you, Micah done ran off. He's completely frightened. He don't want to have nothing to do with the cops. He's gone back to his room, which is also Blue's room. Well, Ralph Angel tells Charley thank you. He appreciates what she did. And she tells him, I may go about things the wrong way. I might say things the wrong way. But just know I'm always, always looking out for you because I love you. I got all of our best interests at heart. You know, in other words, I'm learning too, dude. Just be patient with me. Just know I'm not trying to hurt you in any kind of way. It comes across as hurtful sometimes, Charley. So we have to have a little temperance, all right? Anyway, no problem. I love you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Great moment. He leaves, goes into Blue's room, and there Micah is sitting. And he takes this opportunity now to apologize for putting his hands on Micah. But first he tells a story about how when Blue was younger, he was hoping that Micah would be like a big brother to Blue. But they hardly ever came to Louisiana and he never had a chance to go to California. And he tells him, man, I've been through a lot of shit. There's nothing that you can't tell me. And if you ever need to talk, I'm here for you and I want you to talk to me. All right? And so Micah tells him, yeah, and thank you. And he tells him he's sorry for knocking Micah down. It really was an accident. I mean, knocking Blue down, it really was an accident. Well, Ralph Angel tells him that he's sorry. I'm sorry for putting my hands on you. And Michael was like, nah, yeah, you don't have to. He said, listen, I'm sorry for putting my hands on you. And this is a moment. This is a moment. It's a moment that Micah needs to hear because he won't hear it from those police officers. He won't hear it from those people at the jailhouse. So it's important for your family to say, I went too far. I went too far. I'm sorry. I need you to hear this. Because a lot of people harbor, they splinter, they split, and they never come back together. All right? Another really, really great moment for the board alone. The move. Charley has decided to move into a small apartment, beautiful apartment. I think it is. I mean, everybody loves a loft warehouse space. And this is where her and Micah are moving over the meal. At the meal, and the whole family is there helping them move, helping them unpack, helping them put stuff together, dusting stuff off. And Charley comes across this little figurine from Egypt that her mama gave her. As soon as she say my mom, Nova is like, so we know we're going to see something from Charley's mom. Where this falls into the grand scheme of things, I don't know. We also know that Darla has lost her job. We know from the previews for next week that Darla is going to get a job. Darla's the donuts. Darla is probably going to get a job at the Landry's or the Boudreaux's, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I can smell it coming a mile away. A mile away. I really can. This is going to be a problem for us. So you guys, let me know what you think about this episode. I've told you guys what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on Charley's mom, and I want to see where Darla going to be working, okay? What did you guys think about the incident that happened between Micah, Blue, Charley, and Ralph Angel? What did you guys think when the police came to the door? How Charley stepped in, how frightened Micah was. I know y'all thought like I thought that this was season 1, episode 1, the first part coming back to haunt us. But thank the Lord, we have escaped it thus far this season. Let's see. What else do you got? What did you guys think about the conversation that Remy had with Charley about living in the community? It made perfect sense to me. And I'm glad that she saw when everybody came out and pitched in to help because her daddy had always pitched in to help and they worked as a community. I'm glad she saw that being in the community could be an asset. living in the community could be an asset to her and to the family. So that's it from me, you guys. That is Queen Sugar, season 2, episode 4. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode down below. Please do not forget to um, subscribe to my channel if you are not already subscribed. Thank you so much for hanging in with me with this video. You guys know how I do with the details. I make no apologies for it, but I love you and I thank you guys for sticking in there with me. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up on this video. It's important to YouTube and it's important to me that you let me know you like this content. And remember, let's talk it out below. Until next time, honeybees. Mwah. Ah.